You know how sometimes you see or hear one tiny little detail change, and it suddenly makes you rethink something you thought you knew completely, like a character?
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time, especially when you're dealing with language and translation. Even small word choices can really shift perception.
Exactly. And, well, that's what we're digging into today. We've been looking through these notes and articles, and they all seem to focus on this one really specific, kind of subtle change in the English dub of the new Dragon Ball Daima series.
Right. So our goal here is to unpack just this single line. Why are fans debating it so much? And what does it tell us maybe about how characters get interpreted or even changed during localization?
Okay, so let's set the scene. This is from Dragon Ball Daima Episode 5. Goku gets this uh, pretty classic fantasy offer, right? King Kadon wants Goku to marry his daughter, Pansy.
Yeah, but there's a catch. He only gets the princess if he defeats King Goma first. Standard hero stuff, almost.
So, a big offer on the table, and Goku needs to respond. This is where things get interesting between the versions.
Uh-huh. In the original Japanese track, according to the sources, Goku's answer is very direct.
Yeah, apparently he just says something like, I'm already married and I've got kids, period. Super factual.
It's just a statement of fact. He's unavailable. End of story.
But then you look at the English dub for that same moment.
Right, and the line becomes, actually, I've got a wife and 2 kids at home, so I can't take you up on that.
Okay, so there's the actually, which softens it a tiny bit, maybe. But the big thing is adding, so I can't take you up on that.
Exactly. And that little addition, it subtly changes the reason for the refusal. The original is just, I am married, full stop.
Whereas the dub feels more like,
It feels more like, my being married is the thing preventing me from considering this. It frames it as an external block rather than just his status.
yeah. I saw one article describe it as having this slight, almost regretful tone. Like maybe he would consider it if not for the wife and kids.
Yeah, or at least it makes the marriage sound like the sole obstacle, not necessarily his own lack of interest. It sounds less like, I don't want to, and more like, I'm obligated not to.
And this is where it gets messy, because that interpretation feeds right into this long-running fan joke, or criticism, really, that Goku isn't exactly husband or father of the year, you know?
Right, compared to his love for fighting. So this tiny tweak, whether they meant it or not, kind of resonates with that existing fan view of him.
And there's history here, isn't there? This isn't the first time the English dubs have sort of nudged Goku's characterization a bit.
Definitely not. People often bring up the old Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
Funimation's dubs specifically tended to make him more traditionally heroic, almost like Superman.
Right, more purely good, maybe downplaying some of the original manga stuff,
Right.
where his primary motivation was just wanting a good fight.
Exactly. So for some fans, seeing this change in Daima, it doesn't feel like just a one-off mistake. It feels like maybe another small step in that same direction, subtly reshaping how English-speaking audiences see Goku's priorities.
So naturally, you've got a debate raging online. Some fans are like, come on, it's one line, it's being blown way out of proportion.
Yeah, they argue, so I can't take you up on that. It's just a totally normal, polite way to refuse something in English. Makes sense.
But then others push back pretty hard. They say, look, because it's such a small change, it actually shows how powerful localization can be, how tiny choices can subtly shift meaning.
Especially, they argue, when those changes seem to lean into existing criticisms or interpretations of the character, that's where it becomes significant for them.
And we should mention, the sources point out the English dub is still coming out week by week while the Japanese is finished.
Right, so theoretically, we could see more little changes like this pop up before the English run finishes soon. Could add more to the conversation.
So wrapping this all up for you listening, it really drills down on how just a few words added or shifted in translation can really change the perceived feeling behind a character's words.
And how those changes can then echo with interpretations and debates that fans have been having for, well, decades now.
It definitely leaves you with a question to chew on, doesn't it? Like how much of the character you feel you know is tied purely to that original Japanese script and context.
And how much is maybe inevitably shaped by all those tiny cumulative choices made when bringing it into another language. It makes you think differently about pretty much any translated story you engage with.